I'm calling to order the regular meeting of the Board of Trustees for the Warrenville Public Library District. It's Wednesday, October 16th, 2024, and it is 7:02 p.m. We're going to do a roll call. Trustee Lazan.
You.
Trustee Pika.
Present.
Trustee Stowe. Present. Trustee DeRocher is here. And Executive Director Stan Stulman is here. Not present are Trustee Schmidt, Trustee Warren, and Trustee Richardson so far. Also present are our department heads. Wonderful. Our wonderful array of department heads. We're going to go ahead and do we have any changes to the agenda? Is there okay.
You're all.
All right, can I have a motion, please?
I move that we approve the agenda. Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No, or agenda is approved. And I think we have any presentations? No public? Make any comments? Any correspondence?
Nope.
All right. Now we're on to the consent agenda. Secretary Stoll. Okay.
Item number A, approve minutes of the September 18th, 2024 Committee of the Whole meeting. Item B, approve minutes of the September 18th, 2024 Budget and Appropriation hearing. Item C, approve minutes of the September 18th, 2024 regular board meeting. Item D, receive and file financial report for September 2024.
All right. Can I have a
I move that we accept the agenda, the consent agenda as read by the secretary.
Second.
motion was made by Trustee Pika and seconded by Trustee Lazan. Trustee Pika.
Aye.
Trustee Lazan.
Aye.
Trustee Stowe. Aye. Trustee DeRocher votes aye. So the consent agenda is approved. All right, moving on to unfinished business. No, regular business. May I have a motion, please, for item 8A?
I move that we approve payments for the period of September 19th through October 16th, 2024. Oh, I keep reading off of here. Sorry. Paid invoices in the amount of $54,412.53 for the period of September 19th, 2024 through October 16th, 2024, including electronic payments and checks number 10179 through 10226. Check number 10198 is voided.
Second.
That motion was made by Trustee Lazan and seconded by Trustee Pika. Trustee Lazan.
Aye.
Trustee Pika.
Aye.
Trustee Stowe.
Aye.
Trustee DeRocher votes aye. That motion is passed.
I move that we transfer $125,000 from commercial checking account to operating checking account.
Second.
Motion was made by Trustee Stowe and seconded by Trustee Lazan. Any discussion? I always forget to say that part. All right, then we're gonna go ahead and vote on that. Trustee Stowe.
Aye.
Trustee Pika.
Aye.
Trustee Lazan.
Aye.
Trustee DeRocher votes aye. Motion is passed. All right, now to unfinished business. Taxation, public notice, and
I move that we approve the truth and taxation public notice and set the public hearing for Wednesday, November 20th, 2024 at 7 p.m.
Second.
motion was made by Trustee Stoll and seconded by Trustee Pika. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Cool. New business. Oh, what's the staff in service about?
I think we need the motion first. I believe.
Really? Can't even. Okay,
Yeah, that's discussion. Which is after the motion's made. I move we approve the closing of the library on March 7th, 2025 for a staff and service day.
Second.
Motion was made by trustee Stoll and seconded by trustee Lazar.
No discussion.
So typically, usually most places have an in-service day once a year, so we did our last one this March. Which had been after maybe a year and a half. So I think we are hoping to do some safety emergency drills. With some DEI training, whether that's from Naval Friends or somebody else. Nice opportunity for the departments to be able to meet without having staff desk. I'm sure we'll come up with one or two other things to do as well, but it's just a nice opportunity to close for the day, not worry about staff and the desks. We'll be able to get some of those things into all
Great.
March seems like a good time since hitting the end of winter, but winter typically being the slowest time that we've got. So, before spring kicks in.
All right. I think we can, no. Roll call. And let's do it others. Trustee Stoll.
Aye.
Trustee Pika.
Aye.
Trustee Lazan.
Aye.
Trustee DeRosa votes aye. Motion passes. Great. Now for item 10B, which is on page 21. Library cards, temporary cards.
Yeah, so, I know earlier this year, we made some updates to the library card policy, but, last year, when I was at a chamber event, David Sabatini, he was the president or some such, and he suggested, I maybe at the time didn't realize that there was a cancer center in town. Thought, oh, that could be a potential partnership if there's anybody staying in town for longer periods. We could offer them something. So I was mulling that over, and then in the summer, we had woman who's in her car, the woman in her car who came in and asked about a library card and said, we're definitely interested in something like that, but we don't have anything in place right now to be able to do that for you. And then we had another gentleman who was staying in the hotels here for a month or two for work.
I was
Also
just
came.
gonna say something. That's it, corporate.
Yeah.
There's all corporate apartments too, in the one on Ferry.
Yeah, the one right across from me, they have like apartments.
So, I mean, for folks that might be in from out of town, it's maybe less important because theoretically they have, if they had forethought and planning, then before they came here, they checked out things at their own library. But regardless, if you're here for an extended period of time for doing treatment, maybe it'd be nice to be able to come in and get a movie or check out a board game or
Well, even
Something
at that,
like that.
use the computers.
or use the computers if they need to, exactly. And then more for, access and supporting community members that need the help. For those that might be homeless, it's a nice feature if we can figure out a temporary card. So that they can have some access as well, so. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure you all were in support of doing something like that before we got too much further in.
I think it's a big.
I think it's an excellent idea. I really think we should do our best to try to support people in the community who could really use this service, any service
I
in the
mean,
library.
Like the homeless person, just be able to get into the computer to be able to access information for help, jobs, things like that.
Well, at least
Helps,
for that, at this point, you can either use your library card or you can get a guest pass.
Okay,
So you don't specifically have to have your library card. So,
okay.
so that at least is an access point. So, but even just being able to check out, a book or two. If Unfortunately, 7 periods of time or in between job hunting or whatever it is, or
Yeah.
house hunting or whatever it is you're doing, having
Well,
some
you never
resource,
know.
other additional resources.
When temporary could become permanent, and then they've already been exposed to the library. So, yeah.
Exactly.
Well, especially when, you look at what services that we have, if they don't have the chance to even do that, And when you think about it, like, I don't know, when I travel, sometimes I always poke my head into the local library just to see what they have, and not necessarily, use it, but again,
I'm wholeheartedly for
Yeah.
this.
Well, fantastic.
yeah.
Lori's already done a bunch of comparisons of a bunch,
I can't
most
wait
of the
to
other
read it.
libraries in Swan, so.
What the other libraries have, especially.
There's about 23 of the libraries at Swan, that do have temporary cards of some kind.
So, how many, like, are you also looking at, other libraries?
Yeah.
I'm curious what our neighbor libraries.
For the temporary cards, I know that Naperville does, I think Aurora does. I use, McHenry is an example because I spent so much time there, and they do. I don't think Winfield does, I don't think Winfield does too. I'm not making plans.
We did, but it's for 30 days and it was that $25.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, they charge $25, non-refundable for 30 days. Yeah,
And that person probably.
But you, and then you can
Yes.
renew it for another 30 days,
For another
and for another
$25.
$25,
Right.
that you don't get back. And I think it's their way of sort of hedging that stuff won't come back to them. And they're kind of recouping potential losses ahead of time, but I don't like that.
Yeah. Well, especially since we've gone 5-3.
Right.
but,
I don't mind limiting the number of items. that
Right.
they're-
Yeah.
Or the day, number of days.
Right, that's I'm okay with, but I don't think we should.
I think it's important for us to be in sync with our neighbors, but in a good way,
Right.
not a bad.
My thought is like 3 months, no,
That's-
more than 3 months.
Yeah, it
so.
seems like that much money you guys have been back in the collection agency.
Right.
But that's also like if you're working, you're here for work, like
Right.
from another country or something, you're working, it's 3 months.
Well,
So,
and that's a service that I feel like you could promote sometimes to, some of the big, like the big corporations, because that's when we bring people in. That.
I know some of the hotels and stuff, I mean, I'm sure the ones that have extended stay
Mhm.
cards will have some sort of a, hey, if here's some local things, and if we can work up like a little pamphlet to put in those little packets that
Yeah.
they do, the cancer center do that too. I'm gonna try to contact some of the education pads to see if there's any kind of, anything that they give to, clients that then they can say, yes, I'm staying, I'm affiliated, that we can see, because McHenry had one for, Home Sparrow, which is a home for battered women.
Oh, yeah.
And they had their office residence, or their office building was in the district. And so these women were given a letter from Home of the Sparrow saying that they are, a member of the Home of the Sparrow family, or however they put it. And so what McHenry would do is put that address, the Home of the Sparrow's address, so that there was at least some point of contact. So some of the libraries require like, they want a phone number, they'll, someone was saying that they would, at least have an email address or some other way to contact people. So I think that's kind of what we're looking at. I was trying to figure out the best way, the most equitable way to have a point of contact for everybody, including people who don't actually have a residence. We need to have some way that we can still. Talk to.
I like that you're already thinking about going to the hotels and the big corporations to let them know, service.
And the cancer.
When we do hit, yeah.
Many of those people will probably live in Illinois already, and they might not know about this is the book black bar or
Right.
villages, and just to have something there about that would be a cool thing. Anyway,
Good
We
job.
did everything over. And I work with, Kathy Lee, we could kind of work up a little bit specific to that. Temporary cards.
I'm glad that gentleman needs to.
I
And
am
that you
too.
kept it on your radar.
Well, I'm glad you all are supportive.
very much in support of it.
Yeah. Anything that increases or reserves the library, 100%.
All right. On to the director's report.
Anything you want to highlight here?
Well, the Day of the Dead ofrendas that we have, so we've been doing this for how many years now? Here.
Really, that's all? I feel like we've been doing it a long time.
Seems like it is, well, last year seemed like it was the biggest year, maybe. It was for sure. So, and it was really successful and lots of organizations put together beautiful tables, so. I hadn't remembered, but Kathy remembered you all saying that you might be, last year, that you might be interested in doing a table, so I asked if you're interested in doing a table.
My interest remains on my time, does not permit me right now.
That's fair, that's fair.
It's too much. What does it mean to do it here?
I can, it's around, there are a couple extra, I can also email it for everybody.
I mean, what?
But it's essentially the ofrenda is an altar to those that have passed, so it could really be, you know, anything. We've got some cutout patterns, we can do sugar skulls, we can do pictures of folks. We can put out food that they used to like, or toys, or any other sort of objects that, you know, are a fond remembrance of that person.
If you are ever in Mexico, it is the need. Every inch along the roadways are covered with these. It's just, it's been hours. Example,
It's pretty cool in downtown overall.
is that,
Yes,
I imagine it could
yeah,
be the
because
same.
we have a bunch of events planned at the shop
Okay.
for it, and it's really amazing. I mean, people are all dressed up. Because that will fall right into Post Fridays. And there's all, I mean, it's just amazing, all the different things that are going on. I mean, we will have an altar set up. And for people to put pictures out and stuff like that.
Yes.
We usually will do one for pets too.
That's a big deal for people.
Yeah,
So I mean, you all could, you know, do a mix of things, or you could pick a theme, if you do pets, or do parents, or I think one of the, I just included one photo, but I think the example from Miriam's flyer this year, last year, one table did, I think, celebrities, or that's too broad, but it was specific, but it was not necessarily family, but it was remembering.
Yeah, there are also celebrities in the story.
Makes sense. So,
You can even, if you want to contribute perhaps to the library, so if you don't want to do it, I won't take it to the board, we can probably take items for our, because Miriam creates her own, library. And the other organizations that do their own, but like I said, it's something required to do.
Do we have a specifically dedicated pet table?
We do not, so if you'd like to.
I'm not a particularly pet person, but some people are.
Yes, I am. I'm proud of it.
I can
Oh,
do,
Mary Kelly.
A little addition onto the library one, instead of a whole. Like I said, it really interested me, overcommitted.
so yeah, if you don't think you've got quite the time to put together a full table this year, if you're willing to do that, then we can bring a couple things and add to the library too.
you're gonna do it here in the library?
That sounds like what we're leaning towards. So I will email out that,
I was gonna
Handout
say,
to
did
you
you
all.
ever get a copy? Before we had, because I'd like to see what, I might have something.
This was the wrong meeting for Connie to miss. I
yeah.
can totally see her putting her
She
hand
was
up for this.
extremely disappointed that she was not going to be here tonight, that she got double booked, so,
She'd be all over this.
right.
okay, I will email everybody that handout,
Well,
and I'll copy
yeah,
Paul and Miriam on it.
Jason emails it, maybe she will respond.
Okay.
Not to all.
We got a little more interest for our bank account, not as much as I hoped or that they had originally said. But we still earned a lot more money, so
Yeah.
So doubled,
we'll take it,
yeah.
so. Well,
It's amazing.
disappointed in
Small
the
percentage.
lack of increase, but still, we're making double, and that's already. And then we've just been, you all helped as well by approving the accessibility policy last month, but we're making strides on our way for doing web accessibility. We've got a page on the website now, listing stuff, and we'll add more to it as we add more things. So we're planning on purchasing some. Duncan is looking into the large type keyboard and the accessible, the ergonomic mouse. And I think we're gonna get like the kind of like the shopping cart walker thingy to have on
And then
hand.
the first station that we had here for computers, am I correct?
Oh, I think they would be, well, I can't remember what we decided. It'll either be at one computer or they'll just be available at the adult desk.
But for on-site, you.
Yes,
which
on
is where
site,
you're going.
on site, yes. So keep working on adding some new stuff.
I think
So
those things are great.
Is there any feedback on it or just too new?
I think to I think quick turnaround from last month when I was gone last weekend. So I think that was most of what I had to report.
All right. Good. Well, we're gonna move on to the department head reports then. Does anybody, any of the board members have, and do any of the board members have any comments on any of the specific department head reports?
It's a surprise, I just had my normal thank you, as I read your reports and I go, what I do all day. Thank you very much, and thanks to Kim, who's happy.
I know I'm always impressed, you could say it, all the behind the scenes stuff that, or things that the staff does and makes this such a great library, so. And
I don't want to make this a longer meeting than it needs to be, but I had a thought when I was reading this. Wouldn't it be great if each of you did like an elevator pitch for, you know, the meeting? This is what I feel was my most significant accomplishment last month. I think that would be interesting to hear for at least a couple. You could be about the temporary cars. You could be about the handbook. I mean, there's just all kinds of things that you read in there, but I think.
I plunged the toilet.
Well,
No, Diana did that today.
I think those things would be kind of neat to hear them, so. it's just my-
Did you really think that was a new job description?
Well, it falls on me typically.
Under any and all things. required.
Other duties as a time. Unless Lee's here. That is.
I like that idea, Jerry. It doesn't
I
have to
want
be
it to be
each
more
department head
30
every.
seconds, but something that
It
they are
doesn't
so
have to be
proud of,
everybody every month, but it'd be
No.
nice to hear
because you guys should
some
be proud
highlights.
of everything you've accomplished, and it should be on the record. That's just my thoughts. Please put your sharp.
Be ready next month to say something fabulous about your job.
And look, we expect it every month. Maybe you guys may have to schedule where every month, 2 of you, 3 of you. So you get some exposure that way.
We like to hear from you.
I do have one thing, to shout out, we do have an official date for our band con, which is May 10th, 2025, Saturday. If anyone wants to volunteer and hang out, live band, or talk about the library at the library.
What is it?
It's a band convention, so it's just like a giant, the whole library will be consumed by vendors, programs, and celebration of all fandoms of those sorts. So,
Really?
It's really good.
How fun.
yeah, it should be,
So it's FanCom?
yes, but WPLB fan con.
CON.
Con, like con, convention.
Convention.
Okay,
And I like the name, I read the other names.
anytime. May 10th,
May 10th, 2025.
is that a Saturday?
It's, I believe it's David for. Yes.
I'll volunteer.
Perfect example.
As long as I'm not traveling, I need to check. I don't check.
I'm not going to be there. What can you say?
And if you know any vendors you want who could be represented here.
Oh, I'm sure the ice cream.
She's
Well, she's my neighbor, so we.
on board.
Because everybody is a fan of ice cream.
Yeah. And those ice cream sandwiches.
She brings them all.
No, she doesn't. I know.
I'm putting it in my calendar right now.
They, I did tell you about the Sunday. Concert, so that side of it. I don't know if you will. Is there schedule?
Okay. That sounds really fun. Maybe when my school's festival was, I have to actually double check it. It's on our. Okay. To the board meeting. Anybody have any other comments about the department head meetings? Minutes? Reports? No, okay.
No.
All right, then we're gonna go ahead to President's report. President's report, and so the next meeting will be on into November already. November 20th, we're gonna have at 7 p.m. the truth in the new taxation public hearing. And then we'll have, which will be immediately followed by the regular board meeting. And then we are planning to have a December meeting on December 11th at 7 p.m. and then January meeting is January 5th. All right,
Right.
treasurer.
Let's do January.
So,
As everybody can see, we got a reimbursement for our summer concerts from the hotel motel grant and a generous donation to the DuPage Foundation.
Oh.
And we put in a request for almost a little over $10,000 from developer donations. So
Okay.
that should all be really nice to get.
Was the donation made confidentially or anonymously?
It was the aforementioned one from Amy that I mentioned last month. It's the one I mentioned from Amy.
Sharon, is that Sharon Goodman?
Yes. Sorry, I'm mixing people up. From Sharon Goodman.
Oh. I was curious. Amy. I got it.
Thinking of a different previous board.
Yes, you were right in previous board.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then, just as a side note, and I don't entirely understand all the logistics of what sorts of developments pumps money into that account for us. But when I reached out, I had it in the budget to request 10,000, and when I did that, Kevin, Dahlstrom. Right, I was gonna butcher his name, got back to me to say, well, there's only $10,514.10 in the account. Is it all right if we just give you all of that? I said, sure. So, I said, does that mean it's the end of that, or we're just in the lull? And he said, we really can't predict, but currently a lull at least. So, presumably, I would guess if the whole Old Town development kicks off, then maybe that will fuel some developers to put money into this account. Whatever happens across the street. So I'm assuming that at some point in the future, some of the money will go back in, but maybe for the budget for next year, we budget either nothing or a very small amount.
So it will be a dormant account. They're not gonna charge us anything for having an open account with no money in.
We did not mention that, so no, I would assume not.
And then they're also supposed to, on Ferry, those apartments in the townhomes. There's supposed to be businesses put in them
Oh, okay.
along Ferry Road.
Okay. Well,
So,
presuming all of those sorts of things put money into it, so I assume it'll
Well, you've got the
Building back
office
up.
buildings across the street, and then you've got the apartment building, and they're just finished up the townhomes that are around it, but along Ferry Road in between the
Oh, I know
apartments
where.
and Ferry Road, there's supposed to be businesses put in.
You're talking about, West and Winfield, right?
Yes. Yeah, there's a bunch of office buildings across the road.
That are,
Yeah,
well, not totally, one.
Okay. You have anything?
Okay, the secretary's report looks good. I'll save my comments on the conference for the trustee comments. So rather than, since the secretary, or did you want me to do it under the secretary?
Well, we'll just go right into trustee comments.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you very much for allowing me to attend the conference. It was very interesting. So the three, Connie and I ended up going to all the same ones, so I'm sure she may have some different impressions from last month, but the three that I went to was fostering compassionate, empathetic library policies for a better work culture. I love that one because one of the things it stressed, the one statement I'll say about that is by having good policy, it helps retain staff. It also shows that you trust staff because it seems like it's sort of changing the work culture environment in the sense that before it was like you didn't trust the employees, you figured they were gonna get away with something. But by showing that you have, it's allowing you the flexibility to look at the person individually and seeing what they need, you know, and so by setting up policies that allow you to do that, it also it helps the employee morale. So it also shows that productivity sometimes goes up. And so the next one was the trustees' important role in financial oversight of the library. And it seems like no matter how many of these I go to, there's always, whether it's refreshed or learn something new. It always seems to help clarify more things in terms of finances and things to watch out for. The last one, which again, I thought was the most important one, was the core culture strategy, a holistic approach to strategic planning. And a couple of statements I wanted to make on that I took away. One, to look at it as a why plan. You know, why are you doing things? What is it you're trying to do, establishing direction and priorities? And then the other one, it was saying, provide a method of feedback sooner than evaluation time or budget. Because possible change can be based on that feedback sooner than later, when maybe not necessarily too late, but as that you're going along. And then, of course, the other thing I was going to mention is, so I did bring along some of my favorite giveaways. The most favorite one was the neck ring. So.
Can you demonstrate?
Sure. So you have it around here. It is adjustable and flexible. It does have 3 settings. This was from the Amazon business booth. So I don't want to blind anybody, but so there's 1 setting, there's 2, and then there's 3 with both lights. So, you know, like you can turn it this way, up, down. So,
Wow, that's handy dandy.
yeah, so I've been using this a lot since I've, you know, especially say you don't want to wake somebody laying next to you. But, you know, again, too, if you're sitting somewhere where there's dim light. The other
Is
thing,
that available on Amazon?
I believe so. I'm assuming, like, again, it says Amazon Basics, no, but, so then 2 things I got from Rails. I just wanted to hold these up because again, they're quotes. One was, the only thing that you absolutely have to know is the location of the library from Albert Einstein, and then the 4 different ways for reading. So, so.
What is the white thing, like a pouch or something?
Yeah, it's, you know, again, whether, I don't know, whatever you want to use the pouch for, it's, I think recycled material, so environmentally friendly. Which brings me to the tote bag that I got, which is canvas. No shelf control. So, nice and big and to stuff lots of things in. My other favorite one, so this nice little fidget spinner, let's see if I can. Keep trying to open it, and then, there we go. So,
Oh, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
now this one also happens to have 3 separate settings, so.
So you spend too much time designing them.
Yeah.
So the other thing that was interesting, we rode down with one of the trustees from Downers Grove, and one of the things that somebody on her board or a former trustee did was came up with the bingo, again, because they have the crowds there, and it had different things on it that, you know, to see whether or not, you know, again, she said you couldn't really show it, but, you know, kind of to check things off as to what was happening during the meeting.
What is the conference? Where was it?
It was down in Peoria.
Here.
And then one of the things the Illinois Public Risk Fund sent out or had was the windshield chart, and then it shows you what the dangers are, and then of course on the other side, the heat index is to, you know, that was kind of handy. Then there was this cute little
suitcase.
yeah, believe me, this is just the tip of the iceberg. I did bring stuff in. I don't know if staff had a chance to look at anything.
Not yet.
It's in Jason's office.
That I felt like I had too many things up, and again, that I thought maybe would be more useful. One of the cute little stickers I bought was support your library, very colorful from the Illinois Heartland thing. iLeads had this very nice book with pen and bookmark. And then,
The iLead, I just got an email from them this week. Their new modules. I don't know if anyone's actually taking advantage of any of the modules. iLead yet, but just letting you know, there are new modules.
the other thing I liked was this little card case, so I have my library cards, business cards in here, so that it's easier for me to find and keep track of. Otherwise, I'm always hunting when I go to book conference, like, where did I put them? Where's that rubber banded stack, providing the rubber band is still viable and not didn't crumble apart in pieces, and so. Those are the highlights besides the various pens and of course scratch pads and post-it notes that I grabbed. So, anyway, but so thank you again for a wonderful conference. I really enjoyed it.
You can set up a little booth with all of that. You really got all the goods, girl.
Oh, believe me. Well, it's like, it was so funny because Connie and Marty, the trustee from Downers Grove, where'd you get that? Oh, it's over at that booth. Oh, I missed that thing. I gotta go talk to them. So it was,
And how many books?
there were no books actually. Now, Connie, there was one booth that admitted that they had kids' books, and Connie did get a kid's book. But, and we did sign up for a drawing, so I don't know if
Maybe
they,
that was possible.
yeah, but no, they did not have, there were no publishers there. So, and I mean, again, a couple of the vendors that were, you know, library collections, you know, weren't necessarily giving away. It was the couple that were there were mainly, the emphasis was on kids' books, children's books.
It's a small.
So,
This is handy.
Yeah.
I use my phone.
so, anyway.
Thank you for that very thorough report, Heather, and we're all jealous of all of your goodies.
So, yeah, you're welcome to come take a closer look, and, I know that I have a printout of at least one of the, sessions I went to, and then, I probably need to figure out how to print out the other ones, but Diana was very generous in doing this for me, so.
I will email Tanya. So I will jump onto what you said. There's a couple of things that stuck out in my mind from hers was they recommended that my amount of their levy every year, and she's put in parentheses. So kudos to all of you for being in support of that. And then I think in that first session that you mentioned,
Compassionate, a lot of library types, yeah.
so one of them was mentioning for adding in the people of importance,
Yes.
something, whatnot. But since we added on, friends, that's 12 months,
Yeah.
so we are
We're ahead of the curve.
One person that was there was actually a librarian, and he said he'd only worked. And his first child, but, it was born early, had complications, and to take any more than like 1 or 2 weeks off. Whereas when he started at a library, within like, I was having their second child, and again, complications. And he hadn't really been there long enough or past the probation period, and the library director was take all of this is time that we allow employees to have, and he said it was just off of his shoulders to be able to do that, so. Yeah. So. The theme came up just that, it shows you trust your employees, it's morale and, to be able to do that.
All right. Thank you. So for your excellent report. We might hear from Connie next time, about anything she. I think we are finished with our agenda.
My takeaways from this report were, and again, we talked about some of the things, I'm for the initiative to have temporary credit cards.
I mean, if you want us to let out temporary credit cards to the public, guys.
Change the budget.
Yeah. And situation, I'm dealing with somebody with a lot of accessibility issues, so I'm very sensitive. Spending your time on that, and I'm very excited about your family. I think that is for the community, and that's why I'm so excited. And then Duncan, I think you're kind of in charge for training. Some of those topics are just fascinating to me, especially the ones that you talk about. Well, the risk management one about getting. I think those are great. And talking about freebies, I just wanted to point out. Dave, those of you who know Chef Dave, we got a takeaway from that program. Device, and I thought that was better. So I know every program can't have a giveaway. I think that was a very, kind of nice touch.
Sure was great to.
Yeah,
Even though maybe the last time.
good.
I'm so glad. It was sad to hear that he was trying to sell his business, but he said he was going to keep. So, okay, I'm glad about that. Although I don't know how he's going to do that without a.
I was gonna say, and his Thanksgiving money. Order Thanksgiving dinner. Just, you need that temporary credit card. He has a full.
Oh, okay. No, Jerry, I had never considered that, and I just didn't even have it in my. You just popped that into my brain, and I'm
There are
very happy about
several I've begun to get for things. Opportunities in the area. Santini's doing it, City Gate is doing it. Huge catered Thanksgiving dinners.
I think after 2020 became the thing.
It's amazing what's out there.
You know, after you've cooked Thanksgiving. It's not such a great thing to do anymore.
It's available.
I know, we did the order. You order Indian food. It's just the two of us, so.
All right, may I have the final motion? Who's
I moved that we adjourn.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
7:46. Woohoo!